From Super League to Olympic distance to age group world records to Kona. Go longer with the right fuel at the right time with SFuels.
This is a phenomenal bike ride, and I can tell you he's so casual. This is his first time he's ever biked the full 112 miles here in Hawaii. He's never been up to the turn in Harvey. He's certainly been up there today. Doesn't he look...
It sounds like thunder. You gotta hit for the high ground. Hot water coming, no fooling around. A P-man in the sun. A P-man grab your bags and run. A P-man another swell is coming your way. Cause it's breakfast with Bob.
Thank you, Poncho Man. Round of applause for amazing Poncho Man. Welcome. 11th year of Breakfast with Bob from beautiful Huggos on the Rocks. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Master Spas as fuels go longer. HOKA Let's Fly, Forum Smart Swim Goggles, Quintanaroo, Zoot, the original triathlon brand, of course, our Challenged Athletes Foundation, two-time Olympian, Olympic champion, and Ironman World Champion from Ironman St. George. Please give it up to the amazing Kristian Blummenfelt. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing well. Finally. Made it to the Big Island. It's been, it's strange to finally be here. It's like you heard so much about, for like since we came into the sport. Like you
right.
It's been there in the background. And
yeah, eventually we want to get to Kona. So riding the Queen Highway, and what are your thoughts on the course?
it's simple and tough in the same way. Like we went through the whole bike course, or 170k of the bike course 2-3 days ago, and like it's quite simple out. Like you're just collecting Ks, but then we're on the way coming back again on Queen K, and you're just waiting for the top to see the airport, and it's not this one. It's like the next. No, it's not this one either. Like it's just endless on the way back home, and hopefully it will feel easier on race day in a week time.
So when you go to St. George, and we chatted beforehand, and we were right by the finish line, and you look back and said, I think you ran 17K that day or something like that, and you're like, I ran down here and was sort of imagining winning this race, and then you win the race. What was the feeling like when you actually knew that you had the race?
It's strange because I think it was 14K to go when I passed Brad and Kerry there.
Yes.
So, and also when I'm like catching in time, I sort of knew for like 15-16K that I would win the race. But still, you can't let the feeling get too much emotional, because then you will just fall apart. Like because you are on the limits, basically for at least the second half of the run. So you just have to stay focused, and you get the thought of, okay, the finish line is coming in 10K, but then back again. Focus on the next aid station. Just make sure that the heart rate doesn't go up, and you just have to be in the moment. And the same counts here. Like you have to just, even with the I think it's 1.6 miles between the aid station.
Yes.
You have to do make sure you're getting enough liquid through on board, and just staying cool as possible and relaxed. And then hopefully when you come down Palani, you'll have the win in your pockets. That's maybe the time you can celebrate.
Yeah. When we were watching Canadian Open, it's not often that somebody gets a stitch or a cramp like you had and comes back. Usually they're done. Like Alistair Brownlee, he was pretty much out after that. And you not only, Gustav was just telling us that you were making 30 seconds on him, and he's like, uh-oh, I thought he was gone, and now he's not. How do you do that? How do you come back from something that would debilitate most people?
Also, that was a comeback I was quite happy with, because we were running there and basically running for the win, both of us. We were catching Sam Laidlow up front, and it just came basically out of nowhere. I knew the bike was quite tough, and Gustav was really pushing on there, and I just thought, okay, if I can come on to the run with him, then I would most likely have it. But then after 5K, when I went to the front, I just felt like going through a transition, and just 2 left-hand turns was maybe enough to just trigger the little muscle to just cramp up. And I just thought that, okay, going from 100K win to maybe DNF, that's like
2 seconds,
that's like a big loss. And I tried to think, okay, even just a 10th place here in the PTO race is a good day.
Really good
so
money,
that was like my motivation to just get it back out and be able to go start running again. And second place there was quite pleased with.
I bet you were.
Even though I wanted to be the first guy to beat him with his cap on.
Oh!
His lucky cap on.
So the lucky cap that he found on the street that he's won every race in. So have you tried to hide that from him? Maybe like put it somewhere where you can't find it?
I want to beat him with it on.
Oh, okay.
So we will see next week. He will wear it. He has promised me. So it's another chance.
When you guys train together as much as you do, you've got to learn something about the guy, right? He knows, you know his weaknesses. He knows your weaknesses. What do you gain from that can help you in a race?
I think it gains both of us in terms that we're both getting stronger. So we will both increase both of our chances to perform well. But then in the battle between me and him that we will hopefully see, like that's a dream scenario for both of us, that we are running for second and first, and we just want to be that guy who's winning.
Right.
But then we really know all the strengths and the weaknesses to the other guy, and he knows my strengths and weaknesses. So it's more. It does make it easier because then they know you so well.
Right.
So it's more like you just know how to do it, and then either it goes or it doesn't.
So what are his weaknesses? There's nobody watching here. You can sort of tell us.
Ooh, I like to think that I have him the last 5K. If I really
if you're there in the last 5K,
yeah, I think
if you're
that's
still
my
there,
strength.
you have him.
Yeah, but that's why I think he will try to go earlier. So when he's trying to go earlier, I have that in my mind now. Okay, he's trying to get rid of me before the last 5K.
Of course. And you knew that Alex Yee wanted to get rid. You wanted to get rid of Alex Yee in the Olympics. You didn't want him. You didn't want to see the blue carpet and see Alex Yee still with you.
That's true. So there was also like a different race because he was the one who was keeping the pace high, together with. He was basically doing the most of the work on the run there, and from the early on the bike, I was just counting down until that last mile on the run.
Right.
Because I really felt like as long as the pace is rich enough from here until it's 8.5K, then I really have my chance.
Right.
Because also going too early really hurt. like I did in Lausanne back in 2019 when I went first out of transition and then they caught me and then I went again 6K from finish line. Then I was like just regretting the last 4K. That's why did I go so early? So it's also like to keep on track so it doesn't hurt too much.
When I was watching the Olympics on TV and you took off with 1K to go, I'm like, ooh, that might be too early. But that was the plan.
Yeah. So I feel in Olympic distance, like last 5 minutes, it's kind of my strength. Okay. And I think I will have to go a little bit earlier because you also have to look at the total duration of the race. So the last 10K here feels probably the same as the last 1K in an Olympic distance. So you just have to find and then you also have to go all in from there.
So with the Olympics coming up in 2024 and you guys saying, our goal is to go back. It's very seldom that someone goes from short distance to long distance, then back to short distance. How tough is that balance going to be?
Nobody knows, I guess.
Right. It's virgin territory. You guys are brand new doing that.
That's a new thing. And I think one of the reasons why people haven't been able to go back again is because they're waiting so long. They're just staying in the ITU circus until they're maybe mid-35, and then it's like almost in the end of the career.
Right.
Well, we have come over earlier, which will hopefully be a benefit coming back again to short distance, as we can balance it out a little bit better. And I thought we got like a good kind of an idea of where we are standing after the World Cup in Bergen.
Yes.
Sprint distance, and still being up there, being able to almost fight with Dorian there, Koenig's the French guy who's super fast over sprint distance. So that gave me I believe that I can be fighting for the win hopefully in Abu Dhabi in the grand final.
I think a number of years ago, no one would ever thought there would be a WTS race in Bergen, right? And because of you guys, because of you and Gustav, that happened. How proud of you? How proud were you of that? The fact that it was like Gustav was saying, 20,000 spectators out there, sprint finish, you get second. Of course, you want to win, but get second place in a sprint distance race in front of all those people in your hometown.
It feels unreal, like standing there, like doing the preparation, putting on the start somewhere from home, just riding down to like the heart of Bergen. Maybe one of the coolest course we have done.
Yes.
And also not just the fact that we had a World Cup race in Bergen, but also like a race that most of the athletes coming to Bergen, they was really loving it. They loved the atmosphere, and it's like a race where most of the athletes would like to come back next year. And I think the atmosphere there is something that we're really proud of showing.
And so after you do Kona and after you knock off Gustav and win your second, I don't think anybody's ever won an Ironman, Ironman World Championships in the same year. This is
in their 2 debuts on this.
Exactly, debut in St. George and debut here. So we'll just assume you're going to knock off Gustav there, right? And then you go to 70.3, and he's going for 3 in a row there, and you'll knock him off again.
I would have to give him that one then.
You'll give him that one. Yeah. Okay, you'll give him that one. Then it sounds like you guys are going right back to Olympic format.
That's right. So the week after it's Bermuda. So actually before I came here, I had to pack my road bike. So it's ready to be sent to St. George. So after the race, I can jump right onto the new bike, or the propel bike for Bermuda. So it's not just mix of distance, it's also mixing of the bikes and just getting used to the technical aspect of short distance and being in a group versus just riding constant power.
Right.
So we had more time to prepare for Bergen than we had for Bermuda. So I think now Bermuda is more just getting into it, and then I just want to perform in Abu Dhabi. That's like
that's the place.
The realistic place to take a good race.
So with all this Ironman, I mean, your season this year was ridiculous. You guys started in March, and you're going to be racing into, what, November, December?
Yeah, that's right. Starting off not ideally performance in Dubai, 10th place, but since then it's been amazing and been like, everything has been just been quite busy, basically since Tokyo last year.
Yes.
So I think I will have to need like a little bit easier December just to settle down a little bit before we go full gas towards Paris Olympic Games.
So when you win the Olympic gold, and then you come back and win Ironman World Championship, how did your world change?
In one way, not too much. Like, we are still the same group of guys training together, and we still have the same ambition. Like, we are working towards a new race. Like, we have as much with the training as we did before when we were starting up with the youth national team more than 10 years ago. So we still have that like atmosphere that we're chasing something ahead, and also moving distance made it like it's a new territory, like when we came into the Ironman scene. And so that part hasn't changed much, but it's more like the outside thing. Like, people are more aware of what we're doing, and they like obviously support more, and like meeting more fans around the races, which is really cool to see that people recognize what we do, and they're getting interested in the training we do and the science and everything like that is cool as well. But the training itself is the same.
Because you guys have been on the cutting edge of science in terms of what makes people go fast and recover, etc. What's been the most important discovery you guys have made through all that?
I guess the terms of calories, getting calories on board. Like, without calories, you have no energy.
Right.
And I guess both me and Gustav is like a bit heavier than probably a lot of competitors on the start line, and I think that's really helping us both having the consistency in training, avoiding getting injury, because we're not on that cutting edge in terms of calories wise, and also it helps us with the recovery. So sleep, nutrition, and training, intensity control.
Are you guys seeing growth in the sport in Norway because of what you guys have done?
We haven't been too much in India.
Oh, you haven't been there? Yeah,
so
that's
it's
a good
been
point.
This year, maybe 5 weeks. We haven't seen too much. But it seems like it's getting more and more. Like, the event in Bergen was amazing, and it's also getting more races for the youth and the kids. So hopefully we'll see more competition internally in the team for the qualification going into LA. And hopefully me and Gustav and Kasper is like the older generation then, and being pushed by the younger ones.
The older generation. How old are you?
I'm 28. So.
Oh, yeah, you're really old. So when you look back at when this decision was made in 2010, that, okay, by 2020 we're going to win an Olympic gold medal, did you believe in that right away, or you're like, are they guys nuts?
No, that was my dream. Like, that was really what I was chasing. And I remember I was asked by journalists back then, like, what's your ambition? And I said, I'm going to win the gold in 2020. And so I really put like my head on the table there, like, that's my goal and that's my target. And I wanted to qualify for Rio, like, more to get like the experience. Of course, I wanted to win and get a medal there too.
Yes.
But it's always been this like long-term goal, and we're having the support from the national team and the Olympic team to really target Paris and 2020 Olympics.
Right. When you came over, and the first time we met, was at Nice, 70.3. And I told you, God, getting 7th in your first Olympics is really awesome. And what was your response?
Yes, I got 13th.
Up 13th, sorry.
So I was empty, like, because you're going into a race and maybe even nobody around you believe that you didn't win. You try to trick yourself and think, okay, I can be, if I have everything goes right, if I can make it into a first pack, if I have my best legs I've ever had, I can win.
Right.
So you try to believe it, and when I just missed that first pack, was doing all the work in the second pack, and then still had an okay run, but just not good enough. I just felt it's empty, and it took me like 3 or 4 years before I even bothered watching the race in a replay. Normally I watch the race like the evening after, or like even the race evening, just to get go through and see everything that happened. But the Rio Olympics was just something I wanted to forget and just move on and focus on Paris.
So we've got a week from Saturday is the second Ironman World Championship of the year. You win the first one. What are your goals here?
Obviously going the same. Like, you can't, it's not, I think if you won one before, you just want to win one more.
Right.
And this is more historical place. Like, the exciting thing with St. George was it's a new course. It hasn't been a World Championship in a while, but now it's, for me, never been on the island of Hawaii, coming here, trying to cope with the uniqueness of this course. It's a more simple course in one way, but it's also more tougher way, mentally, when you're coming back on the Queen K and just going up and down, and position-wise, it's and the crosswind, it's constantly there. So it's a challenge in itself, and also the humidity. In St. George it was warm but very dry. Here it's the opposite, extremely humid, and I hope I can do a good training block the next week to just nail that last bit of preparation.
When you went 7:49 at St. George, and a lot beforehand, a lot of people didn't think anybody was going to go under 8 hours, and I remember David McNamee told me, he said, hey, there's going to be multiple people under 8, and someone's going to go sub 7:50 to win the race. And we talked about it after race, and you said, well, this course really didn't suit me, but the Kona course sounds like it does.
Yeah, I think so. It should, hopefully, I like to think that this one suits me better. It's less technical aspect in terms of the crosswind, which I didn't find too confident with in the St. George course. So here is more just down to yourself, and that you're not overcooking, that you actually can run through the energy lab rather than walking up. So it's more about staying within the control. But also here, I guess, I was one of the favorites going into St. George. Yes. But here, I guess, even more. Yes. And people around will try to maximize against my weaknesses. So it's more about doing my thing right, tactic-wise, during the race, and using the others to my advantage rather than being overcooked by everyone around me.
Do you think you have any weaknesses?
I think, of course, I missed the first pack on the swim in St. George, and that's something I hope I have been able to improve here. So I feel more confident I will make it here than I did in St. George on the swim. Yes. So if I can make it there, then I have more control early on the bike, and hopefully people will also race for podium and not just beating me.
I love it. Kristian, as always, thank you for taking so much time and being what you've done for the sport in Norway. What you and Gustav done is huge.
Thank you very much, and finally we are in Hawaii.
We're finally in Hawaii. Give it up for Kristian Blummenfelt. Poncho Man, take us out.
Be down in the sun. Be man, grab the bag and run. Be man, another swell is coming your way. It's coming your way. It's breakfast with Bob.
Thank you, Poncho Man.